Written by Professor Paul, PhD, Me Foundation, Monthly Lecture Series 59, June 1st, 2026. Throughout history, individuals, organizations, and nations have been shaped not merely by circumstances, but by the choices they make. Every choice carries a cost, every opportunity demands responsibility, and every freedom requires discipline. The future is not an accident, it is the cumulative outcome of decisions made daily. Consequently, the quality of our choices determines the quality of our lives, our institutions, and ultimately our destiny. One of the greatest misconceptions of modern society is the belief that freedom means unlimited access to resources, unrestricted consumption, and the absence of constraints. In reality, genuine freedom is not the ability to do whatever one desires. It is the capacity to make wise decisions within the boundaries of responsibility. Freedom without discipline often leads to self-destruction, while discipline transforms freedom into lasting prosperity. The concept of choice is central to several theoretical perspectives. Rational choice theory suggests that individuals make decisions based on perceived costs and benefits. However, behavioral economics demonstrates that people frequently make irrational choices influenced by emotions, social pressures, instant gratification, and cognitive biases. This explains why many individuals, corporations, and governments repeatedly engage in unsustainable financial practices despite understanding the long-term consequences. The global economic landscape of the 21st century provides a powerful illustration. Across many nations, rising debt burdens have become a defining challenge. Governments borrow extensively to finance development, consumption, or political ambitions. Households increasingly rely on credit to sustain lifestyles beyond their earning capacity. Institutions pursue expansion without sufficient consideration of future obligations. While borrowing itself is not inherently problematic, debt becomes dangerous when it finances consumption rather than productivity. Debt is often presented as a pathway to progress, yet unmanaged debt can quietly transform freedom into dependence. What begins as financial leverage may eventually become financial captivity. The borrower gradually loses flexibility, autonomy, and strategic options. Resources that could have been invested in development become diverted toward servicing obligations. The result is a cycle in which future opportunities are sacrificed to satisfy past decisions. This reality is particularly relevant across many developing economies, including several African nations. The challenge is not merely the accumulation of debt, but the culture surrounding money and resource management. When public resources are perceived as limitless and borrowed funds are treated as windfalls rather than obligations, a dangerous disconnect emerges between productivity and consumption. Economic theory emphasizes that wealth creation precedes wealth distribution. Yet contemporary society increasingly celebrates consumption over production, visibility over value, and appearance over substance. Social media culture has amplified this tendency, creating unprecedented pressure to display success rather than build it. The result is a generation exposed to lifestyles they may not have the economic foundation to sustain. In many societies today, success is often measured by luxury vehicles, extravagant ceremonies, political influence, and social status, rather than innovation, productivity, entrepreneurship, and intellectual contribution. This distorted value system encourages short-term gratification while undermining long-term sustainability. Individuals become trapped in personal debt, institutions lose strategic focus, and nations struggle to achieve meaningful development. The consequences extend beyond economics. Human capital, the most valuable resource of any nation, is increasingly mobile. Skilled professionals, including doctors, engineers, researchers, academics, healthcare workers, and entrepreneurs, seek environments where merit, innovation, and productivity are rewarded. This phenomenon, commonly referred to as brain drain, represents one of the most significant development challenges facing many emerging economies. Human capital theory teaches that investment in people generates the highest long-term returns. Yet when societies fail to create opportunities for growth, security, and advancement, they inadvertently export their greatest assets. What begins as individual migration gradually evolves into systemic talent loss. The departure of skilled professionals weakens healthcare systems, educational institutions, technological advancement, and economic competitiveness. Today, migration is no longer driven solely by poverty. Increasingly, it is driven by governance failures, insecurity, limited opportunities, corruption, policy inconsistency, and the perceived absence of a viable future. Young people are not merely searching for jobs, they are searching for systems that reward effort, competence, integrity, and excellence. The challenge before Africa, and indeed the world, is therefore not simply economic. It is fundamentally a question of stewardship. Stewardship requires understanding that money is a tool, not a trophy. Wealth is most valuable when it creates opportunities, develops people, strengthens institutions, and improves future generations. Sustainable development demands a shift from consumption-driven policies to productivity-driven investments. Resources must be directed toward education, healthcare, infrastructure, technology, research, agriculture, industrialization, and innovation. These sectors generate enduring value because they expand human capacity and strengthen national resilience. History consistently demonstrates that nations rise when they prioritize production over consumption, competence over patronage, accountability over entitlement, and long-term vision over short-term political gains. No nation has borrowed its way into permanent prosperity. Lasting development emerges from disciplined leadership, responsible citizenship, productive investment, and strategic management of resources. The lesson for individuals is equally profound. Every financial decision, every career choice, every relationship, and every habit contributes to the architecture of our future. The discipline to delay gratification, live within one's means, pursue continuous learning, and invest wisely remains one of the most powerful predictors of long-term success. As we navigate an increasingly complex world characterized by economic uncertainty, technological disruption, global competition, and social transformation, one truth remains unchanged. Choices have consequences. The cost of poor decisions may not be immediate, but it is inevitable. Likewise, the rewards of wise decisions may not be instant, but they are enduring. The future belongs not to those who consume the most, but to those who create the most value. It belongs not to those who seek shortcuts, but to those who embrace discipline. It belongs not to those who mortgage tomorrow for today's comfort, but to those who build today for tomorrow's prosperity. Ultimately, the discipline of freedom is the foundation of dignity. The value of money lies not in spending it, but in stewarding it wisely. The cost of choices reminds us that every decision shapes destiny. For individuals, institutions, and nations alike, sustainable prosperity will never be achieved through endless borrowing, extravagant living, or misplaced priorities. It will be achieved through purposeful choices, responsible stewardship, productive investment, and an unwavering commitment to building a future worthy of generations yet unborn. Africa's greatest resource is not oil, minerals, or foreign aid. Its greatest resource is its people. When empowered, educated, disciplined, and inspired, they possess the capacity to transform the continent into a model of innovation, resilience, and prosperity. The choice remains ours. The cost is real. The future is waiting. Courtesy of Me Foundation, committed to human capacity building worldwide. A voice of reason in a complex dispensation. Thank you for participating in the first lecture of June 2026. Kindly share this message to inspire others and contribute to building a more responsible, prosperous, and sustainable future.